Okay, so in this video, we're going to work on comparing yellow light fractions. Yellow light fractions means we only have to slow down, change one of the fractions. One of the fractions gets to stay the same. The one we're going to change is always going to be the one with the smaller denominator. The one that's going to stay the same is the one with the bigger denominator. Our goal is to create an equivalent fraction that matches the bigger denominator. So we're going to change the smaller denominator into the bigger denominator with a Watoda Madud. In this case, our Watoda Madud to go from 6 to 12 is times 2. 2 times 2, whatever I do to the denominator, I'm going to do to the numerator, is 4. And what you can see is we started with different denominators and created the same denominator. So now all we need to do to compare these yellow light fractions, which are now green light fractions, is since we're both in 12ths, we're just going to look at the numerators. We have 4 twelfths on this side, 7 twelfths on this side. 7 is definitely greater than 4. Let's take a look at the next one. Again, with yellow light fractions, the smaller denominator is going to become the bigger denominator. So the bigger denominator is going to stay the same, and we're going to turn the smaller one into the bigger one with the Watoda Madud to create green light fractions. To go from 5 to 15, we are going to Watoda Madud times 3. Do the same thing to the numerator. 3 times 3 is 9. We've turned yellow light into green light. We have 1/15 on the left, 9/15 on the right. Having 9 out of 15 is definitely greater than having 1 out of 15. Let's take a look over here. Again, these are yellow light fractions because we can turn our smaller denominator, sixths, into our bigger denominator to create those green light fractions. We're going to have 24ths compared to 24ths by Watoda Maduding 6 times 4 turns 6 into 24ths. Do the same to my numerator. Whoops, do the same to my, I don't know what I just did. Do the same to my numerator. 3 times 4 gives me 12. So now I have 12 24ths on the left, 12 24ths on the right. I think you can agree those are exactly equal. Last but not least, we have ninths and 18ths. The one we're going to change is the smaller denominator into the bigger denominator to create those happy green light fractions. We're going to Watoda Madud 9 times 2 is 18. 4 times 2 is going to give me a new numerator of 8. So now I have my green light fractions, 8/18ths compared to 2/18ths. If I have 8 apples, I have more than if I have 2 apples. So 8/18ths is greater than 2/18ths. So what you're going to do next is you are going to complete some practice problems. The directions are very clear. If it's not green, you want yellow. So we're going to complete the work on scrap paper or dry erase, whatever you have. But then you have to fill in the answers and the symbol. So for example, on your dry erase board for this first one, comparing 1/2 to 6/10, you need to, on your board, figure out what equivalent fraction you're going to turn 1/2 into to match 6/10. I'm basically telling you which fraction you need to change. Well, we want to change the denominator of a 2 to match the other denominator, 10. And that's going to be a Watoda Madud of, well, 2 times 5 is 10. So do the same thing to the numerator. 1 times 5 is 5. So now we have 5/10 on the left, 6/10 on the right, and I would choose the correct symbol to show that 6/10 is greater than 5/10. So you're going to do that for the remaining problems. Here's a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 more, but I'd like you to do this first one. So the first one, I'm basically telling you the answer. I expect you to get it right. And then once you're done, you're going to check in with me and make sure you're ready to move on to the next step.